Hello guys and welcome to episode 2 of Geeking Gibberish. Today I really just want to discuss a little bit about this amazing book I received for Christmas off my girlfriend's mom. It's a beautiful book, one that I've wanted to read for quite a while. It's called The Kamogawa Food Detectives, and it's basically almost like a food detective agency run by like a father-daughter duo. The father is called Nage Kamogawa and the daughter is called Koishi. Sorry if I butchered those names, but that is as best as I can pronounce them. And basically the synopsis is, I'll literally read you like the blurb that's on this. So, what's the one dish you'd do anything to taste just one more time? Interesting question. So down a quiet back street in Kyoto exists a very special restaurant called the Kamogawa Diner. Customers who can find the hidden establishment are treated to an extravagant meal, but it's not the main reason for visiting. The father-daughter duo who own the restaurant have started advertising their services as food detectives, interesting concept, capable of recreating a dish from their customers' pasts that may well hold the key to unlocking forgotten memories and ongoing happiness. From the widower looking for a specific noodle dish that his wife used to cook to a first lover's beef stew, the restaurant of lost recipes provides a link to the past and a way to a more contented future. Beautiful, beautiful concept. And basically, the book is divided into sort of 6 individual stories. Now, they all kind of follow the same idea of somebody has either heard about the restaurant from a friend or relative or colleague, or they've just happened to see the very cryptic advertisement that they have put in a food magazine, and they think, oh, that's an interesting concept. I want to try and visit that place. But it's a very inconspicuous building. Like, you wouldn't know it was there unless you knew about it. And even when you know about it, it's hard to find it. I love the whole mystery and kind of the searching and sleuthing to try and find it. So I found that concept really, really interesting. So basically what happens is someone goes to the restaurant, they get a warm welcome from the father-daughter duo, and they are treated to the set menu of the day. And then after they've had the set menu, if they have then went to the diner for the specific reason of having a past dish recreated, they then get led into the back room, into the actual detective agency part of it, where they get asked a series of questions, so like your name, your age, where you're from, and then a bit more about the dish. So when did you first have it? Why is it so special? Can you remember anything specific about it? Smells, taste, ingredients, who you first had it with. So the father-daughter duo can start to like envision how they can then recreate this dish. It is the daughter who really conducts this interview. They then come out of the back room of the detective agency, back into the restaurant. The individual then leaves the restaurant after paying for the set menu. And then the father-daughter duo sit down and they discuss the information that the individual has, that they've been able to glean from the individual about the specific dish. The father-daughter duo normally say it, but it'll probably take about 2 weeks for them to be able to source the ingredients and to source the, like, if they need to acquire a certain sort of utensil or way of cooking the dish in question to be able to recreate its authenticity for the individual. It normally involves the father, Nage, going out on a trip and visiting kind of where the individual was born or where they remember having the dish, so then they can sample and then potentially buy specific ingredients for the dish that you can only get in this sort of region of Japan. They then bring it back to the restaurant, and then following the 2 weeks, the individual then comes back. They then sit down, they then enjoy the meal that again, it's primarily Nage who cooks, but Koichi does do a little bit of cooking further on in the book. I'm not going to spoil too much of it. And each one is each individual story anyway, but she kind of turns her hand a little bit more to the cooking side. And well, the father actually speaks to the individual whilst they're waiting for it to be cooked to really help elicit some more memories and kind of explain how they've managed to recreate the dish. Once they've then had the dish, and if they feel it is up to par, they then, when they ask how much will it cost, it is up to them. The father-daughter duo literally hand them a piece of paper with the bank details on, and they say, you pay us however much you feel it was worth, kind of thing. And honestly, the writing is just unbelievable. Plus, do not read this when you are hungry, because you'll be starving by the end of it. I want every single one of these dishes, from the beef stew to the tonkatsu to the nabayaki udon. Honestly, every single dish sounds in the detail that the author Hisashi Kashiwai goes into is just phenomenal. It's such a beautifully written book. It's literally like you are sampling like the perfect kind of menu. Like, if you could taste words, then you could literally taste this book, especially when they explain the level of detail that it goes into with each dish. But it's also just beautiful when you realize why the people like the dish to a certain, for a certain reason. And it's beautiful. The only reason I didn't read this in one sitting, and yes, okay, it's fairly short. It's only 201 pages. And as you can see, the writing is quite big. Fair enough. And I am quite a slow reader anyway. But the only reason I didn't sort of devour this in one sitting is because I started reading it in an airport, and I literally had to stop to board a plane. Then as soon as I got on that plane, sat down, cracked open the book again, and I literally just read it boom, 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 as if I was having like a buffet of Japanese cuisine. And let me tell you, I was content and full at the end of it. But I also kind of wanted more. But it satiated my sort of desire and want for a lovely sort of book about food, because I'm a really big, not a foodie as such, but I love to cook, I love to eat, I love the whole idea of food, I love reading, and also I'm really trying to get more into sort of Japanese culture and Japanese novels as well. I can't read Japanese, trust us, I struggle with English. But I just love the whole concept of the Asian sort of culture and how much they, put into each other, into their food, into the memories, and like the mystical elements about it. Like, there is kind of some of like a mystical, magical kind of transportational way that they use food, and that the author uses food as a vehicle to, again, elicit these past memories and dreams and hopes, and how we can then move on from maybe a repressed memory or like a sad memory from the past, like a bittersweet memory, and to help someone move on through their idea of food. And I cannot honestly recommend this book enough. It's one of the best books I've ever read. I'd happily reread it again now. That is how much I love it. So I really recommend this book, and I know you shouldn't judge a book by its cover, but how pretty is this cover? Just the whole thing is just amazing. So thank you for letting me geek gibberish about this book. I recommend it to anybody, not just someone who's who likes food or who likes Japanese culture or cuisine or anything. I cannot recommend it to anybody. If you like reading, you will like this book. You'll be able to take something from this book. I feel I literally took everything and I still wanted more. It's kind of me just being a bit greedy, to be honest. But honestly, please consider this as a potential read, because it is beautiful. And if you're doing any reading challenges, it's a nice way to quickly knock off a book as part of your reading challenge. It's something a little bit different. You can easily read it in an afternoon and you will not be disappointed. So I really hope more people read this book. Let's scream and shout about it. But that is enough for me. Go and enjoy the rest of your day, guys. Thank you so much for allowing me to geek gibberish about this book, and I'll see you all later.